All right, all right. So today we're going to be talking about how to start a business that generates seven figures in year one. Yeah, I know we've all been told the myth and the misinformation that it's going to take 2 to 5 years to really grow a big business. And if you last that long, to hope for the best. And, you're just a part of one of the lucky ones. But over the past 20 years of just being in business, there have been some things that I have learned that have allowed me to start with that mindset, but also transform into the person that knows how to make $1 million business minimum per year. And so I'm going to be breaking it down in live steps. So for those of you who are aspiring to start a business, maybe you're new to business and you don't really quite know the blueprint to actually getting that business off the ground and into the realm of seven figures, then you definitely want to listen up. If you know somebody who has dreamed about starting a multiple six-figure, multiple seven-figure business, and it's just an aspiration, share this video with them. If it's you, definitely take notes because we're going to dive in step by step. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am Dr. Kawanda Irving. I am a business growth specialist who also learned, how to coined by the media basically as a seven-figure business creator. So I show other people how to actually create seven figures in their business. When they do the work, they absolutely get the results. And so over the years, of course, in addition to accessing and helping over 7,000 business owners across the nation and aspiring them to and encouraging them and empowering them to really grow and scale and build multi-seven-figure business empires. Of course, I'm going to break down exactly the same thing that I've learned, the things that I also teach, but just getting back to the basics. Okay. So, because a lot of times people want to grow and scale, but you don't even know what's under the business. Like what is under the hood? We don't even know, how you structured your business, if you structured it right, if you're set up correctly, because not everybody is going to be able to have the same amount of results because not everyone creates a business equally. So we're going to take it back to the basics. So if you're new to business, let me know. Type it in the chat, type new in the chat. Let me know if you're new. If you're a novice, you've been in business, more than 5 years, let me know that you are a novice as well. And so this is going to be, of course, one of those basic fundamental videos, but I'm telling you, the information that I'm going to share is so fire that if you follow these steps, you will have yourself a $1 million business game plan that if you execute, regardless of how long you've been in business, if you execute, you can hit your seven figures in the next year. So let's get ready to rock and roll. We're going to do this. Like right now. It's going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to look and see if there's any comments just yet. But if you're new to our channel, type new. Let us know if you're new. If you're a novice in business, let us type novice in business. If you are brand new on the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more tips like this. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started with starting number one. Okay. So I'm going to bring out my calculator. So the details I'm going to share with you is going to break down specifically how you can start a seven-figure business in 14 very simple steps. Are y'all ready for it? Let me know if you're ready in the chat. Let me know if you're ready for it because it's 14 steps. Look, not 100 steps, not 1,000,000 steps, but 14 simple steps. If you execute and implement these things, or even some of you need to do a business audit, like, did I miss a step, right? This is going to literally change your life. And so number one, getting started, right? And go with me. Even if you've been in business for 10 years, just go with me because sometimes you can start multiple businesses and sell those businesses. Hey, Cameron, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. So number one is decide your primary industry. A lot of times people get stuck, decide your industry. Decide if you're going to sell a product or if you're going to do a service or if you're going to do a mix of both. If you're going to do consulting or if you're actually going to hand and do carpentry or you're going to do janitorial, you have to make the decision. The decision that you make is going to be very key because it's going to tell a lot about whether or not you're going to be able to get funding for that industry or whether or not you're going to have a hard time or if it's a high risk industry. So choosing your codes, your industry codes, in a smart and strategic way is going to be very key. Now, you can go, I'm not going to get into the basics of, what industry is better than the other, what pays more. It doesn't matter what type of industry you get in. But if there are industries like real estate, credit, anything like insurance. Those are high risk industries. So you got to choose wisely. It doesn't mean that you can't start a business doing those things. But as far as choosing your industry code, which you can do some research on NAICS.com, that's NAICS.com. You can do some research on there. You may just want to choose a consulting code, and under their consulting business, you can do real estate or credit or financial, whatever, right? Because otherwise, if you choose the wrong code or industry code as your primary code, you could be, basically redlined from getting access to capital, considering as a high risk business industry. So that is number one. Decide your industry. Now you can Google NAICS.com, NAICS.com, go there and look at the different industry codes that exist there by putting in keywords of things that you're interested in doing, or you can download the SBA Small Business Size Standard Tool PDF, and it'll give you everything that you can code in the NAICS industry, like all service codes. You'll be able to go through and see, okay, this is a better fit for me or whatever. So number one is deciding your primary industry. Number two is choosing an address. Where are you going to call your home base? Like, where are you going? What is going to be your headquarters for your business, right? It could be a home, right? It could be a brick and mortar. It could be a virtual. It could be a whole lot of things, but you also got to keep in mind the end goal. So what is your main objective? What are you planning to do with the business? Now, if you're planning to use the business to build business credit and work with B2C clients and maybe some of your state and local agencies, then definitely you could use a virtual office. Now, if you're thinking about doing business with the federal government, you can't. I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible, but choose an address and go with it, okay? Without going into more detail. So I'll go into a little bit more detail towards the end. So number two, choose where you're going to do business, because that address needs to be consistent on your EIN, your LLC filings, whatever, your sole proprietorship, DBA documents, whatever, all of your information, business documentation needs to have congruent and consistent information across all documents. Number three is you will go to irs.gov to get your EIN, and it's 100% free. For those who are brand new, of course, if you Google EIN, you're going to have so many different websites that offers it for like $400, $500, $600, even $1,000 to get your EIN. But you can get it for free by going to irs.gov, typing in EIN, the keyword, and just applying. It literally takes less than 5 minutes to get a free new EIN, right? And you can download it the same day. So all of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, most of these things you can do within a day, 3 days tops. So if you're getting started with the business within 72 hours, there is no excuse, right? Sometimes I say this because sometimes people are like, hey, did you start your business yet? And they're like, well, I'm getting ready, or I'm in the process, so I'm working on it. Well, to me, and I just had this conversation with one of my colleagues, like working on it means you're not doing nothing, right? Because some of these things could be done just like that within hours, right? And so how long have you been working on getting started in business? And if you have been working on it for more than 72 hours, that means you need a push, right? Either a push or make the decision that, hey, I'm just going to go work a regular traditional 9 to 5 because this thing, I don't have enough discipline to work for myself. You know what I mean? And that's okay, right? Because, people need jobs sometimes, right? And that's okay, because entrepreneurship and being a business owner is not for everybody. So after you get your EIN, of course, you want to go to your Secretary of State. This is regardless of what state you're in, or make a decision of where you want your business to be established. What state do you want your company to be established? But even that comes with, depending on your objective and who you want to do business with, even that may come at an additional expense. Because say, for instance, if you're looking to do business with a state government, and your business is not located in your state originally, but it's in another state for the purpose of you want to minimize taxes that comes with establishing businesses, and you want to play that game because you've heard all these things online. You got to understand the game that you're playing, because if that is the case and you want to participate and set aside in your own state and your business is in Wyoming or Vegas or whatever, for whatever purpose, then you have to incur the cost, or thinking about incurring the cost of creating a foreign entity where you are, including having a office, whether virtual or physical office where you are, so you can play the game in both states. Okay. So you really got to think about those things in advance, because it's going to let you know how much money overhead, because it takes money regardless of what whoever tells you. It takes money to start a business, and only money can beget money. It takes money to make more money in business. And if anybody tells you otherwise, that person most likely is broke, and so will you be if you follow that advice. Like, you can start a business and make money without no investment. No, it just doesn't work that way. You have to basically, be willing to invest in yourself and into your business. And if you're not willing to invest in yourself or your business, then maybe the job is probably going to be the best thing. Y'all, excuse me. I mean, not to be offensive. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I want to make sure that I'm shooting straight, because we're talking about setting up a foundation that will literally bring you in 7 figures in 1 year, in your first year. And when you do this, no matter how many entities you establish, you can have multiple businesses bringing in 7 figures, but it takes focus, it takes strategy, and it's a system that you have to follow, right? So all the other things that people try to, maneuver and all, if it hasn't worked so far and you've been doing it for 5 to 7 years, guess what? It's probably not going to work, because you got too many maneuvers going on. Okay. So Secretary of State, city and county. If your city and county requires you to have a business license locally in order to do business based on the, their rules and regulations or compliance with the city, the zoning rules, basically, you definitely have to also have a local business license. Not all cities require that. So you have to check with your city and county based on your business address of where you are zoned, whether or not you're required in your industry to have a local business license. And if you are, you definitely want to have that, because not having or being in compliant could not only keep you from being able to get funded, but also it can keep you from being able to, close high ticket clients, which I'll get to in just a moment. Okay. So we have that. The city business license. Number 6 is going to be opening up a business bank account. Okay. So you definitely want to do that, because as soon as you open up your business bank account, number one, it's going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to immediately really establish you as a business, right? And that's going to be day one of when you really got started in business, because it's going to establish a paydex score, whether you know what that is or not. That is a business credit score. So it's going to establish a business credit scoring based on how much money you open up that account with. So if you put in $5 because that's the minimum, then guess what? You're going to have a $5 rating. Okay. So don't be fooled about, by all the people that's telling you start a business account with $5, because it does hurt you on the other end, when it comes to like getting yourself funded and positioned for a 7-figure year. Okay. So if you want to basically open up a new business bank account, you want to open it up with a minimum of $2,000, preferably $5,000, but $2,000 if you can. Okay. Otherwise, you do what you can until, you can get your rating up. Right. Okay. So a couple key banks here. And let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat. Let me know. Drop your questions in the chat as I'm going through this list. But a couple different banks that I highly recommend if you're just getting started in business and are starting from the ground up, or have a business that you definitely want to reposition for higher success than what you've been having, is Navy Federal. Navy Federal is a really great, amazing bank to have for a business. Like, as long as you're going to be positioning yourself to put money in that bank account, every dollar that you actually put into your account, the banks are getting $10 on that, and they're willing to loan you, right? So if you're putting $2,000, they basically got $20,000 for that particular $2,000 transaction. They're willing to give you a credit card. They're willing to loan you some money, because you're helping them get access to money. And that's the banking system. That's the truth about the banking system and how it really works. So if you had a 6-figure business and you're dropping $100,000 minimum a year into that business, then they're basically getting $1 million, 100,000 a year times 10, right? So that's $1 million. So yeah, they're willing to give you 25,000, 50,000, 75,000, 100,000, or whatever, because guess what? You're contributing to this banking system and it's working for both of you. So Navy Federal is definitely a good bank. Chase Bank is great. These are some of the banks that are really great with funding small businesses. So we'll talk about that and where it falls in the steps, because accessing capital, if you don't have capital of your own, is going to be key. Leveraging other people's money is a key strategic part of starting and scaling and growing a business to 7 figures and beyond. Now, I know that a lot of times people have these misconceptions that, hey, I want to be debt free, or I got to bootstrap my way to the top, but none of those things really work. And it really is, if I may say, is a poverty mindset, is a limited beliefs around money. And if you want to create multiple six, multiple seven figures, we have to start reframing how we think and believe around money. We got to know that money is a game that you play with. Money is like Monopoly. You can't get in Monopoly with rocks. You can't play the game of Monopoly with rocks, right? You got to play with Monopoly money. And so in this game of wealth, you cannot play the game of wealth or money with fake money or with pretend money or with limited money or limited beliefs. You got to have real money in order to get into the game. Hey, Shanette. Hey, Shanette. I'm glad to see you here. So hopefully this is going to help you even in your journey to, getting started in entrepreneurship. So I said Chase Bank. I said, I'm just listing off a few banks. So I said Chase. I said, what is it called? Navy Federal Bank, Bank of America. Yeah, even Bank of America is good. I love you too. Even Bank of America is good, as well as I would say I think it's called Key Point Bank. And then there's some others, right? So I have a whole curated list. You guys can message me later or whatever if you like a curated list of banks that support small businesses and they understand the process of growth, right? So number 7 is these are some things, essential things that you must have. And they're small overhead costs, but they're costs, monthly costs that you have to incur and be willing to incur, because nothing is 100% free. When you try to go the free route, guess what? The free route says, hey, this person doesn't believe in money. We're going to repel their money magnetically and money will run from you. So you got to be willing to put a little bit of money into the game so you can get a whole lot of money out, right? And so these are some of the things that you must have: a business cell phone, or a business phone number, some type of number that is separate from your personal cell phone number. Now, the banks and the entities that will give you funding during the funding process, they know whether or not it's a cell phone. It flags as a high risk and basically disqualifies you as a credible person, where they're willing to trust you to give you a lot more money, right? They may trust you with like $1,000, but this is a game, right? We're trying to get 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. And so you got to set these things up correctly. So a business phone number, some resources, of course, where you can get a business phone number is like, I think Line 2, Google Voice has phone numbers, and then eVoice. I personally use eVoice because you can get not only local numbers, but toll-free numbers for your business. And you can have multiple lines that goes to, multiple, businesses that you may have set up. So a business phone number, you must have that. A professional business email, right? So no longer should it be, Keisha at gmail.com or Keisha's catering at gmail.com. That is unprofessional. You got to do what you got to do while you're doing it, right? But if you really want to get into the game of professional businesses that acquires clients, that's willing to cut big checks, you have to show yourself as a credible business. And this is the reason why you want to go to places like Namecheap or even GoDaddy to get a professional domain for your company. Make sure that your domain is available so that you can do like Keisha at Keisha's Catering at KeishaCatering.com or info@Keisha'sCatering.com, because it's professional, it's tied to your business, and it actually is a part of the checklist that funders actually look at when they're actually looking to fund you. And in fact, some banks, you can't even open up a bank account with a Gmail address or Yahoo or Hotmail. Some banks require you to have these things in order to even open up an account. So all right, so we have the email and then a domain, of course. So we talked about the domain. So step 8 is to apply for a DUNS number. It is 100% free to apply for a free DUNS number. So if you Google free DUNS number, free Dun & Brad, free DB, you definitely can, register your business for a new DUNS number and apply for that. And it takes about 7 to 10 business days, up to about 2 weeks, right? Depending on how you're applying, what you're saying you're applying for it for, depending on, it could be sped up. If you're saying, hey, I'm a government contractor, you can get it like within 72 hours versus waiting up to 2 weeks. So, but you definitely want to have a DUNS number. The reason why the DUNS number is important is it establishes your business credit profile, and it allows the federal government to track federal grants, federal funding, and they ask for that information so that they can track who trusted you before with money, right? Federal funding or whatever. Who trusted you with grants, with funding or whatever? And it kind of goes into your business history. So it's important for that particular purpose and for the purpose of continuing to build credit. From there, once you have all of these things in place, it takes about, maybe it takes a few days, right? It may take a few days for these things to be like public or private in a domain, right? Or in a system where all of these things can be verified. So from there, you want to submit your business to the 411 directory, right? So the 411 directory, how do you get your business submitted there? You can actually claim your Google listing and it's submitted in Google. But also, in addition to that, you want to go to listyourself.net. If you go to listyourself.net, you can submit your business to the 411 directory. This is how your company ends up showing up in the 411 directory. When people are Googling the name of your business or whatever, it shows your address, it shows where you, and it shows that you're credible and you're visible and you're not just on a personal cell phone. Okay. So that is a part of the process. So once you do that, you're done, right? You're pretty much done. That's 10 steps, right? But I have a few more steps that I'm going to get into. Plus, I'm going to show you some next level stuff after you do these. This is the fundamental establishment of a business, right? It's almost as if, just think of building a new business, a new building, right? Doing construction. I talk about this a lot. Doing construction or planting a plant that will one day be a tree that produces fruit. So let's use the tree, the anatomy of a tree, right? So my husband wrote this book called The Anatomy of a Tree. And it's so important because that anatomy could be the human anatomy, or it could be related to, money anatomy or anything. Just being successful. And it all starts with the roots, right? Before you can get the body of the tree, which is the trunk, and get to the fruit, which is what everybody wants, the fruit, the result, like the outcome of your input. Before you can get to that, you have to establish the roots, right? You have to, plant that thing. And so this is basically helping you to know how to plant a business that actually gives you the fruit of 7 figures or more per year. And so from there, once you have your DUNS number, your business listed, the fundamental things done, then you can actually start building out business credit. This is the next step. You're welcome, Shanette. Then you want to start building out business credit. So I'm going to bring up my little doodle thing if I can, but let me see if I can bring it up because my computer has been acting a little strange today. But there are key fundamental steps, right? So look, trust me, I have been the business owner that makes 0. I've been the business owner that makes 30,000 a year. I have been the business owner that makes 100,000, 300,000. I have also am a business that makes more than 7 figures. And so no matter where you're starting from, trust me, I understand the pain, the struggles, the hurdles, the questions that you have, because I've done it. I'm trying to show you how to, overcome all of the noise that happens as you're growing and scaling, and give you the shortcuts to actually, like, just the straight line to actually building a successful business without the, the learning curve, right? Just do the things, execute upon those things, and you will actually get the result. Okay. It all comes back down to being, doing, and having. If you've ever heard me talk about becoming the person who would take the action, who would do the things, who would go through the checklist and execute upon those things, because those are all the people who can absolutely make 7 figures in a year if you follow a clear blueprint. So if you're listening to me right now, if you believe, thank you, Ursula, you're welcome. If you believe that, I'm going to try to see if I can put some of these on highlight some of these, your questions on the screen. Oh my goodness, I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what, like I said, my computer is acting up today. But anyways, we're gonna get through this information. But thank you. I appreciate you, Ursula, for just appreciating the value information. How can I recap of this? Oh, the recap. So if you're on Facebook, join me on YouTube at Carwana D on YouTube, and you can find the replay to this call. So this is where you'll be able to find the replay to the call on YouTube. And so I really don't even want to share my screen because it might cut out. I'm afraid to share my screen. So let me see if I can. If I can share my screen. Yeah, I think it's going to work. Please work. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's going to work today. All right, cool. So we talked about the establishment of the business foundation. This right here, those first 10 things are vital, right? It's vital that you set it up like that. So I wish I could just type it up for y'all, but it's hard to type, to write and type and do all those things and talk. So, but I will do a recap of all the things that I just said. So I said, number 1, decide your industry. Number 2, choose your address. Number 3, get your EIN. Number 3, number 4 is file your articles of organization. Now, the reason why I said articles of organization, this is an LLC, rather than go get a sole proprietorship and then the fictitious business name, right? The reason why I'm setting you up with LLCs is because LLCs are fundable. They're separate entities. You can get access to capital. You can grow much faster, more further with an LLC than you can with a sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship, you can grow. Yes, you can get there, but it's going to be so much harder because you're going to need access to capital as you're growing. And in order for you to grow at that level and get access to capital, you have to have at least minimum a 700 credit score to back the findings, your financials. Okay. And so business foundation is definitely going to be key. What this does is almost like, in order for you to get, the fruitfulness of the tree, the 7 figures, the money, right? This is the money tree that we're planting. You must first plant the tree, right? And planting the tree starts with the seed, right? So you got to do this work right here. This is the root work. You got to nurture the roots of it. And building this business foundation is really just you nurturing the roots, planting the seeds and watering the seeds that you must do during the trunk. That's going to help you get to the fruits of your labor, right? Let me close this out before y'all see my computer is acting a fool. Let me move that. But, get to the fruit as it's growing. Okay, so y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? Let me know if y'all can see me. Let me know if you can see me, hear me. And forgive the technical hiccups here today, and it's all good. Because I'm going to get the information in anyway. If you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. We're going to close out some of these applications because it's slowing down my computer and causing it to act a fool. All right. So I left off on the fundamental 10 steps. Those are the 10 steps. So next we have business credit. So this is phase 2. Okay. We covered phase 1. This is phase 2. Step 11 is going to be establishing business credit. Okay. Establishing business credit is so very key because number 1, it's going to give you access to, thank you. I see. Okay. So y'all can see me. Y'all can hear me. Okay. So establishing business credit is going to be very key because number 1 is going to give you access to not only tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. When you set up an LLC, before you even, when you set up an LLC, immediately the first thing that you want to start doing, especially if you don't already have a 680 to 700, preferably 700 personal credit score. When you start up an LLC, these are the things that you want to do. Phase 2, getting started with your business credit. You want to open up at least 3 to 5 vendor accounts. Okay. 3 to 5 business vendor accounts. These business vendor accounts will allow you to purchase things, sell them, and make your money back without having to pay the bill for 45 to 60, even up to 90 days. So these are, and it depends. They'll give you like what's called a 30-day net. That means you got 30 days to pay for the stuff that you just purchased from us, right? So they'll put you on an invoicing system. And so some of those vendor accounts, beginners, are things like Quill, Uline, Granger, and then Monopolize Your Money or something like that, MYM. things like monopolize your something, MYM. So these are some of the starter accounts that you can do, because this is going to establish not only business lines of credit, even though it's not money, it's not monetary, it's business lines of credit that gives you a credit score on your business where you can start opening up a 80-point credit score on the credit bureaus that will start allowing you to get then cards, business credit cards, business store cards, business gas cards, and then finally to the business lines of credit and capital. Okay. So let me see. What did I say my YouTube channel was? I'm gonna see if I can post it in the bottom here without my computer crashing. I'll post it, but it's under Caruana D. Caruana D. So if you go ahead and go to youtube.com/Caruana D, you will be able to watch this replay. So youtube.com/Caruana D. I'll see if I can put it up on the screen. Maybe it'll allow me to do that without crashing at the banner. There we go. Right. So there you go. So that is it. Caruana D is the name that is on my YouTube channel. Okay. So business credit. So I gave you guys some of the things that you have on business credit. And the reason why you want to establish at least the vendor accounts first is because, and this is especially if you don't have already a 700 personal credit score, is because it's going to give you access to capital. As an LLC, even new LLCs in your first year, 2 years, or whatever, if you're brand new, you can still access up to $100,000 to $150,000 in business lines of credit, even as a new established LLC. But there's some things that you must do. There's some things that you must prepare, which is why I'm giving you this checklist in order to get there. But you want to at least establish your score so that, you don't have to have all this proof and financials and all these other things to present. So business credit is it's a little tricky, but there's different ways to do it. So you can either do it from the ground up, basically starting with vendor accounts, credit cards, gas cards, and then store cards, and then start opening up business lines of credit and business loans from there. You can do it that way. If you do it that way over time, it may cost you about $2,000 out of pocket, right, of expenses. If you have a 700 credit score, then that is the best way, because you can personally guarantee to get approved for these things without having to, prove yourself first, right? Paying for them first to build that, establish that relationship. Okay. And so number 12 is going to be leveraging your personal credit score, right? And I probably should put those reverse, right? Do your personal credit, then your business credit, but it doesn't matter. Personal credit is definitely going to be a part of you accessing capital, because the same way that you can access, capital on the LLC side, even up to $500,000, if you run the play that I'm going to share with you at the end, even up to $500,000 within your first year, you can actually access on the business credit side. On the personal side, anywhere from $75,000 to about $100,000 on the personal credit side, but you must have a 700 credit score in order for that to work. Okay. So, but those are the things that you want to do, not because we want you to learn how to get money, to go mess up some money, to owe some money and put yourself in debt. Because if you do not play the game right, you will end up in debt, right? And so it comes back down to an identity thing, right? So I have these methodologies that I talk about how to be more productive, how to actually acquire and accomplish anything in life you could ever want to accomplish. And it comes with like total alignment, right? And at the top of this, 4 to 5 steps of alignment to show basically how to align yourself with wealth and to become a money magnet and allow wealth to naturally flow into your life. It starts with identity. Identity is everything. If you're the type of person who have a bad relationship with money and funding and stuff like that, you get access to this money, guess what? That relationship that you have with money is going to show up. So you have to start working on you at the top. Number one, if you don't work on you, then in nothing that I'm going to talk about over the next few minutes together is going to work, because especially if you have not already achieved 7 figures, it's not because 7 figures is not achievable. It's because you have not yet become the person that can achieve 7 figures, because your money is directly tied to who you are as a person. And I know that may sound like, That may sound like a hard pill to swallow, but guess what? If you want to grow your money, you can't think you're going to grow your money without growing yourself, your mindset, and personally developing yourself and evolving into the person who actually can attract and maintain the wealth that you're looking to have, right? That means it's going to be some work, okay? Somebody say, work on me. Or somebody say, well, work on me. Put that in the chat. Work on me. You got to work on you. You got to be willing to work on you, okay? So I was reading the book, and I would recommend this book to anybody that's on their wealth journey. It's called the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Eckhart Harv. And it's a really amazing book because it talks about your money thermostat, because everybody has one, right? There are some people who have a money thermostat that is set below zero. And this is where you have all your homeless people and the people are extremely poor, right? And then you have some people whose thermostat is set to making tens of thousands. And that's why they stay stuck at tens of thousands. But where is your money thermostat? Where have you been over the last decade, right? Because that goes to show where your thermostat. There are some people whose thermostat is set for six figures. So no matter how many businesses they start, they're always going to make six figures because that is their thermostat. That is who they identify. That is what they're attracting into their lives. But I'm going to show you how to set a thermostat that attracts seven figures. And it comes with not only identity, but it comes with strategic steps and actions that you must take in order to get there. So what is your money thermostat? So I would recommend that book because it just opens up your mind to knowing that it's nobody else's fault. Like where you are in life, like you can't blame nobody but yourself, right? There's other people that influences where we are, right? Influence is like propaganda and the programming and the systems and all of the things that are hidden in plain sight influences it. But at the end of the day, you always have the power to make the decision that, hey, I'm no longer going to be a part of this program. And so that was a decision that I made about 12, 15 years ago, that I'm no longer going to be a part of the program that says I have to be a part of the middle class, the lower class, the underclass, right? The struggling class. I don't have to be a part of that because I made the decision, and so can you. Okay, Cookie, the name of the book is called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I'm going to look it up on my phone. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So I have the audio book. I listen to it on my way, to work, or to my office. I listen to it and it is so powerful, y'all. I mean, it's so powerful. So anyway, so we got into leveraging personal credit because that's going to give you access to capital. You have personal credit working for you. You have business credit working for you. If you don't care about your personal credit, I don't care what's going on. I don't care how many divorces you've gone through. I don't care what has happened, how many collectors are after you. If you want to get into the wealth game, that is a system that you have to leverage because you're not going to get rich off of your limited income. You're not going to ever get rich off a little bit of savings. You're never going to get wealthy off of your limited ability to produce income for yourself. You must leverage. The most wealthiest people in the world, Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, Bill Gates, all of those people, guess what they have in common? They're leveraging other people's money. They use business credit, they use personal credit, and they play these games. These are the rules of the games that Robert Kiyosaki in the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that he was talking about, that rich people teach their kids, that poor people don't even know to teach and talk about with their kids. These are the things that I have learned in the past 2 decades that has helped me to get myself out of the rut. 86% of the people, like just people in the nation that live in the United States, live below the poverty line. Why? It's because of all of the misinformation that is in the marketplace. It's because that nobody really teaches or tell people in order for you to actually get wealthy, you don't basically go to school to get a job. You go to school, you educate yourself to learn how to read and to count your money. You start a business, right? Get a job for some experiences, but ultimately the only way to get wealthy in this day and time is to start a business, have something to offer of value where you can exchange not time for money, but exchange value for some contracts, exchange values for tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars that somebody's willing to pay for the result that you can bring for them. Okay. That is how you do it. And so we have getting Your business, okay, leveraging personal credit. That was number 12. So number 13 is getting your business certified as a woman-owned small business, a minority small business. If you are a veteran-owned small business, and if you are a business owner of no cultural background, that means you're a non-minority, a Caucasian, a small business certification, right? SBE. I'm just a small business. I'm a local small business. I'm a small business in my state. But these particular certifications is going to set you up for access to closing high ticket clients. So imagine the world of the difference between closing a person that wants to pay you 10, 15, 20, maybe even $40 an hour versus a person who's obligated to and looking for you to pay you 10, 20, $30,000 for your hour. Different. Not for the hour, but for your value, for the outcome that they can get. Different. So in order for you to get access to that pool of money that they're obligated to spend with you, those certifications are necessary. They're very key, right? Regardless of what you hear in the media, with the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is there, all that stuff on your look. There's money still coming down the pipeline for people who are in position. And if you actually, don't follow, like if you actually go with the norm, you will be a part of the normal story, right? You go against the grain, you will be a part of the top 2%. 6% or even 7% of the money earners in the world. In the world, this is where the wealth is being made, right? Whenever they have these things that are going on that sounds like pandemics, that sounds like hurry up and pack up and run and go hide. Those are opportunity moments to get in now. Those are moments where you want to get in now because money is being had. In fact, just yesterday, and this just happened yesterday, I was talking to one of my colleagues because we have real money talks on high level conversations, right? We have real money talks about creating wealth, maintaining wealth, scaling wealth, helping other people get wealthy, all those different things, right? And I was saying, well, my goal this year is to increase by, increase my business revenues, like multiply 7 figures. We just want to multiply it, right? And then all of a sudden, because of the certification that I have that I'm telling y'all to get, because of the certification that I already have, I didn't even realize how close I was to being able to start on the journey to multiplying 7 figures. So I got a call from one of the contracts that I have, one of the officers on the contract that I have, and it was like, hey, we got to spend about $300,000 in the next 7 months. And it basically was a call for help. Like, okay, I got a plan. I can offer this. Here's how we can spend that, right? So how many of you would love to be a solution, right, to an agency or a colleague or a client that must spend their money, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars? And for some agencies, they're billions of dollars they got to spend like in the next 7 months, right? How many of you would like to be a solution? And if your answer is me, yes, I do, let me know, right? Because then guess what? You must follow these steps to getting your business certified. Now, the certifications you get with your state, your local, your city and county, okay? You get them with the state, whatever state you're in, you get them with the city, what city you're in, find out about the small business certifications that they have. And then if you want to be federally certified, you will go to sam.gov. That is the one spot for shop for sam.gov. Hey, Keisha. So you would go there. All right. So I'm giving y'all game. I'm giving y'all like some real game because, just because I just felt a little generous today. Like literally people have paid thousands of dollars for the game that I'm giving y'all today, but I'm giving it to you because I want to see who's actually going to do it. And when you do it, implement it, execute it, run the play, and you get the results, make sure you come back to me, right? And let me know. And let me know, hey, I did what you said, because that means you are a doer. And I want doers in my community. Okay. And so we have number 14. So here's the play, and I wish my screen was working correctly, so I could share, but it's okay, right? We're just gonna roll with it, right? And so the $1 million strategy, you must have a $1 million strategy. If you want to grow your business to $1 million, you got to have a $1 million game plan. Okay. If you want to grow to 6 figures, you got to have a 6-figure game plan. Most people don't want to grow to 5 figures, right? That's just like, that happens by default. 5 figures just happens by default. Like you could just walk in a room and make 5 figures, right? But 6 and 7 figures, that comes with effort. That comes with systems, comes with strategy. So you must have a 7-figure game plan if you want to grow in the next year, 12 months, like you start a business today, 12 months, you have generated 7 figures minimum in that particular business, you must have $1 million strategy. So I'm going to give you a couple different ideas, and you can go do some $1 million math on your own, right? From there, I'm going to give you some ideas to start the ball rolling, and you can start doing some $1 million math on your own to create your strategy to see what it's going to be about. Yes, Tanya, it will be. All right. So in order for you to have $1 million strategy, you have to start thinking about $1 million clients, $1 billion clients, $1 trillion clients, right? Because we can't go to moms and pops. We can't go to mom and pop shops. We can't go to Pookie and Ray Ray. We got to know where the millions and billions and trillions is. Where does it exist? Okay. So there are 3 entities that, where you can actually build an empire on. Number 1 is government. Contracting with the government. That's the number 1 biggest client you could ever acquire. These are the clients that write to you $250,000, $500,000, multi-million-dollar contracts. You can't see the screen? No, there's not a presentation. My thing is just messed up. It just started messing up, and I don't know why. That's why you can't. So it was a presentation, but it's not showing. So yeah, my apologies for that. So let me see. I don't even know how to remove that thing. But anyways, so that is, so I'm most likely going to be recording this video all over, and then I'll post it again so you guys can see the whole thing. But for now, we're just going, hey, we're going to roll with technology, right? So I'm not going to quit just because there's a technical thing going on with StreamYard today. But so government is number 1. Corporations is number 2. Corporate clients. These are the high ticket clients you want to have as a part of your strategy to grow to 7 figures. So we have corporations, we have government, and number 3 is high ticket clients. High ticket clients. HTC, high ticket clients. So those 3, that the high ticket clients could be elite class of people. It could be celebrities, like people who have money or leverage access to money, who's willing to pay you a high ticket price for the result that's going to give them at least a 10 times return on their investment. There are some high ticket clients that are out there. You have to just identify, depending on your industry, where to go find them, but they are there. They're already waiting for a solution. They don't even know that you exist, but they're looking for you right now. If you get yourself out, out of your home, out of your office, out of the rut or whatever, and become present, they'll know that you exist and they will find you. They say that when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive, right? And so you just know that they're ready. They're just waiting for you to arrive. Okay. So $1 million game plan, the math. I love doing math, but here's 2 math equations that I'm going to give you that's going to show you. And I want you to pull out a calculator, because don't just take my word, pull out a calculator and do the math on this. Okay. You're welcome, Brittany. Do the math on this. So if you have a $10,000 product, service, solution, a $10,000 of value that you can offer to a person, right? Some of y'all have backgrounds in writing books. Some of y'all have backgrounds at catering. Some of you have backgrounds in starting trucking companies, you knew how to become a realtor and pass the exams. Some of y'all have all of this experience, but yet you have not realize your value. And I'm here to tell you, you got value. And yes, every single one, no matter where you're coming in, even if you're just starting in business doesn't mean you're just starting in value, right? That just don't mean you just started living. You have to know how to extract the value that you have to offer and package it, and be okay with charging for what you're worth. Be okay with it, because people are afraid of pricing. You can't be afraid of money. How can you attract money, make money, get money if you're afraid of money? No, you got to know how to package your thing to where it's fair on both sides. I'm going to give you this value. This is how it's going to change your life, or this is how it's going to help you multiply your money or whatever. But there's a small seed investment. Nobody can get the result without planting the seed. Nobody can get an apple tree without planting an apple seed, unless you're stealing somebody else's seed, right? And so we're talking to thieves. We're talking to people who are of ethics, who have morals, and who really want to do this thing the right way, so that your wealth stream does not get stuck, right? And don't lead you into a world of trouble. Okay. So we're talking about ethically how to grow and build and scale a business. So you have a $10,000 product, right? Where are we here? Okay. So you sell that to about 8 to 9 high ticket clients. sell a $10,000 product or service to about 8 to 9 high ticket clients. That would give you $80,000 to $90,000 a month. You do $90,000 a month times 12 months. What number do you get? When I do the reverse engineer of $1 million, we're talking about baseline 1,000,000, and you divide that by 12 months, that is $83,333.33 a month. So if you have 9 clients that are paying you every single month $10,000, then guess what? You have exceeded your $1 million mark, right? It's all math. It's all math, right? So you can do 8 to 9. 8 to 9 clients is about 108 clients per year. 108 clients per year. The more value you can bring, the higher ticket you can charge, right? The less work you have to do, the easier it will be for you to hit the numbers. So then we have $25,000. Let's say you have a $25,000 offer. That's going to include a little bit of your time, right? Look, not only am I going to give you the blueprint of how I did this, how I succeeded, or the blueprint or whatever, or not only am I going to do this for you, if you're talking to corporations, not only am I going to come in and teach your organization how to professionally develop themselves in a way that is culturally fit, right? How to teach your organization how to, pass the Kobe test, how to teach your organization how to deal with each other. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna show you guys how to create your own PowerPoints or how to use AI. These are real jobs. Like these are real training opportunities. Like I'm gonna come in and I'm going to basically clean your buildings or whatever. And it's going to cost $25,000, whatever it is, whether high ticket coach, government, corporate, whatever, service product, it does not matter. If you have a $25,000 offer you definitely do that to 40 clients a year. You sell that 3 to 4 clients a month. If you sell that to 3 to 4 clients a month, 20, 40, 25, 3 to 4 clients a month, that is going to help you exceed $1 million in a year. That's about 40 clients a year versus a $10,000 product that gives you 108 clients a year. 25,000, 40 clients a year, that is over exceeding $1 million a year. It's all math. So now what you start with the end mind and goal and you work backwards, and it's going to tell you what workload you have to do. Now you got to think about, okay, well, how do I close 3 to 4 $25,000 clients? Well, you got to go where they're selling the most, where the people are buying the most. Well, who's buying the most all the time and got money to spend, and they must spend it all the time? Government, right? Right. Yeah. And so then you got to think about, well, how many pitches do I need to do to win? Now you know what you're going to be doing every day in your day to day, not chasing carrots, not looking for the next best thing, not on scrolling social media, not spending time checking emails every day, because that does not get you in the money. When you work backwards from your end goal, then you create a plan of action daily that's going to keep you in the money. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Let me know. Type ones in the chat if you're following me. Type some ones in the chat if you are following me. Another way, the third one, and I'm going to give you this and then we're going to get out of here. Okay. So the third one is, we all know that Dr. K talks about lucrative government contracts. I have contracts. I've gotten contracts. I know how to help you get contracts. I've helped so many clients get contracts, anywhere from $250,000 all the way to 2.7 million and beyond. And then they stack the contracts. So we are definitely helping people become multiple 6-figure, multiple 7 figures earners. Okay. So you're following me, right? And so there's a such thing in the government contracting space. If you have your certifications, you've done these things, and you follow the steps and strategies, you have established your business, you get access to credit, I'm telling you, money will come out of everywhere. Money will come out of everywhere. There's a such thing in government called the simplified acquisition rule. And I want y'all to look it up on your own. Look it up. The simplified acquisition rule is where the government is a vehicle that they use where they award contracts that is anywhere above $10,000. So $10,001, above $10,001 up to, at the time of this recording, about $250,000. That's $250,000, right? To a small business that is certified. This is the reason why having those certificates is going to be key, because now you can say, hey, I'm one of those small businesses that you're obligated to, pitch this to, right? But under the simplified acquisition rule, right? When they do that, not the micro purchases, but the simplified acquisitions, all they have to do is reach out to 3 people, 3 3 businesses that are registered in their system, 3 businesses to get a quote, and they can award it to anybody. That gives you a 33.333% of winning a $250,000 contract. If you do that once per quarter, that's $1 million. That's a $250,000 per quarter. If you do that once a month for 3 months straight, you can make $1 million in a quarter. You can make $1 million in a year. All you're doing is doing the work to actually back into the numbers. You can make $1 million in a month. And yes, you can even make $1 million in a single day. Trust me, I know it. I've done it. And I know that you can do it too. It's all math. Somebody say millionaire is just math. Being a millionaire is just really just math. It's really just being math. It's just really just doing math and being in position to walk out and execute out on key strategic things. So you're going to start your business. You're going to certify your business. You're going to work on your business credit. You're going to work on your personal credit and optimize yourself so you can leverage these monies. Leveraging business credit is going to give you access to about, between personal and business, we're talking about $500,000 in capital that you're just using to position yourself for marketing to these entities, for corporations, for, for government, for high ticket clients, so that you can be visible to these people. And then you start doing your magic offerings of the value that you have to offer and price it big, but you want to make sure that your pricing matches the outcome. Like, it has to be worth it. Like, you have to at least be able to give somebody a 10x return on their investment, right? And I'm gonna give you some examples. So if you have a offer or something that you've accomplished, they're going to show somebody how to make money. You definitely want the investment to match them making at least 10 times if they execute on the thing. So if you're basically charging 10,000, you want to make them the offer that you have, you want that offer to be able to bring them at least $100,000 in profits when they actually do the work. This is what it's all about. And sometimes that 10x doesn't even have to be monetary, right? So if you have a program where you're teaching people how to stay married rather than get a divorce, yeah, it will cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars and stress and counseling after that post-divorce and affect their children. So guess what? You can offer $25,000 because at the end of the day, it will cost them, even though not always monetarily, it will cost them $25,000 worth of counseling, worth of heartache, worth of struggle, worth of all those different things. And so you got to make sure that you're always bringing great value at the price that you're looking to charge. And so this is how you basically start a business that makes 7 figures in a year, y'all. Waking up the monster in you. Hey, Mo. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is how you do it, y'all. It's simple, but it's complex. But the reason why it's so complex is because so many people are just confused at what to do. So they go online and they Google some things and they go to YouTube and everybody's saying something different. And then they ask the people around them, they're saying something different. And then your family is telling you to just go get a job. And so it's all this information and you don't really have no direction. I just walked you through a 14-step strategy to starting and growing a 7-figure business. And I promise, if you do those things, you can have 3, 4, 5 entities that you created that are all making 7 figures. You can do that too, right? All making 7 figures. So you're welcome, Dr. Shanette. You're welcome, Shanette. You're welcome, Mo. So yeah, go be great, be fruitful, multiply, but also don't forget to become the person who will do the things so you can have the result. Until next time, I'm Dr. K, and thank you guys so much for joining me here. We'll see you next time.